Say yes every day to the world and to your heart. Open up your eyes and let your spirit start. Say yes to the dreams you hold inside. Let your soul be your guide and say yes every day.
Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Wednesday Wisdom. Today, we are joined by the incredible Deven Gillen. He is the co-founder of Hova Digital, a marketing company that helps loan officers grow their personal brand to fund more loans. Deven has helped generate over $1 billion in loan volume over the course of his career. Well, Deven, thank you so much for joining us today. And we start off Wednesday Wisdom with our standard question. You know, we go through our lives, and we pick up all these little pieces of advice and wisdom, whether it's from a podcast, from someone that shares this with us, and some things kind of sit with us. So, Deven, at this time, we'd love to hear from you. What is a piece of wisdom that you'd like to share with the audience, and how does that wisdom tie to your life?
Okay, so I have two different things. One's more for like business and another and life, and the other is for loan officers specifically. So something that I've learned out through the course of my career, I've had bad managers, I've had good managers, and the one thing that's always stuck with me is I don't see mistakes, I only see lessons learned. I don't think it's possible to make a mistake. I only think it's possible to learn from the lessons, from the things that are mix-ups in lives. So as long as you mess up on something, if you turn that into a lesson learned, you're going to have a better time in your career. As a leader, you're going to be a better leader because then you're not going to be so hard on your employees and your employees are going to trust you more. I get that's a lot as a manager to be like, okay, we can only learn from our lessons. I need to keep calm. I can't get upset. Like I need to keep my nerves chill. But that's kind of what I've learned is like lessons learned is awesome. And then for loan officers, kind of tying more to like specifically to loan officers, if you're a broker or if you're in retail, there is not a more important thing than growing your personal brand, especially with AI. So don't rely on your company's marketing, rely on yourself to grow your brand.
I love it. All right. So, Deven, literally, as you were speaking, I reached over to my notebook where I have some of the things that we follow, and I personally follow as a leader. And one of the things at the top of my list is mistakes are the way forward.
Yeah, yep.
See, if we so many times, and this goes back to what you were saying about good leaders and not so good leaders, is
Hmm.
that if you are not trying things or making forward motion, well, yeah, you're correct. You're probably not going to make a mistake. And the reason why you're not making a mistake is because you're just repeating the same thing over and over and over again. But when you're a great leader and you tell people, come on, we're going to push the envelope and we're going to go beyond that circle, right? Beyond the square box.
Yeah.
Yes, you might make a mistake, but that mistake or lesson is going to move you forward. So when you're not making mistakes, you're actually just stagnant. You're just staying in the same spot. And no one creates success staying in the same spot. So, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think especially with like even my employee, because it's nice that I finally own my own business. I have my own employees, and like I'm kind of I hate saying boss, but the manager. But it's nice to be able to practice that because a lot of my bosses would like say it right. They would say like, "Oh, you can't make mistakes," but then they'd get incredibly mad at you if you made a mistake and you're not preaching it right. So I'm not saying like, "Oh wow, I'm like perfect human being," but it feels good to be able to do that and actually practice it because I was on the other end of the stick where they'd say, "Hey, only lessons learned," but then they'd get super mad if you made the tiniest mistake. And it's like, then how are we supposed to learn? So that's kind of just to add to that. That's all I'll
And
say.
Deven, listen, we all wear scars from
Yeah.
our past leaders, right? Because to your
Yep.
point, and that's especially like people starting out in their career. If you, and I always, I work with a lot of women's groups and things in the mortgage industry because I like to really inspire, especially young women coming into the mortgage
Mhm.
industry. And I always say to them, right, people come in and they're all gung ho, and it doesn't matter if you're female or male, but you
Yeah.
come in, you're all excited and you're ready to go. And then you work for a terrible leader
Yeah.
that gives you kind of like a whipping, if you make a mistake or if you go out of line or if you do something that isn't exactly the way they want it done. And unfortunately, as these people move through their careers, they're carrying this baggage and this weight on them as
Hmm.
they're now you've got this new team member that has all this baggage, but you don't know the scars or the baggage that they're
Yeah.
carrying.
Yeah.
So we as leaders have to make sure that we number one, we have to make sure it's very clear as to what we do expect and how we operate,
Hmm.
and we follow it so that we can give them that nurturing environment to where they do understand, yes, in the past that might be the way, but that's not the way here. So, Deven,
Yeah.
tell me about, I want to hear about Hova, right? I want to hear
Yeah.
about, I know you're the co-founder. Where did it originate? Where did the
Yeah.
idea come from? Why, what problem were you solving? And how's it going, right? What are some of the lessons you've learned so far as you're doing this venture?
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of a long story. So I got into the mortgage industry 10-ish years ago, and I was working at this company where I was managing the CRM for the loan
Yep.
officers. So I was the guy that was sending out like the holiday emails, the lead campaigns, but everybody was using the same thing, right? And I started to realize if we could focus on the loan officer's personal brand, like add videos to their campaigns, to their follow-up, it performs a lot better. So I kind of started helping individual LOs. I didn't agree with my boss at the time, and he said we are only going to do stuff that benefits the company as a whole, not the individual LO. So I left that company, went to another company where I helped build like this. It's called a marketing assistant program for loan
Okay.
officers, and they tracked it, and in a year, we from that program alone, it generated over $1 billion because we focused on the loan officer's personal brand. So got a way better boss at the next company. And then I joined a startup where they do video editing and social media management. And I just kind of wanted to do my own thing. We were helping a lot of different people other than loan officers, and I wanted to help just loan officers grow their personal brand. So I started my own business with a partner, Christian. He runs like our paid ads, and I do more of the organic. And then the name Hova, I try not to get religious, but it comes from Jehovah.
Ah,
I'm Christian, so I really like that's what I believe in. And okay if you
nice.
don't believe in that, or great if you do believe in that. But that's kind of where the name stemmed from, Hova. Some people think it came from Jay-Z, and I just want to make sure people know it is not from Jay-Z because that's like
I was gonna say that's very good you're bringing that up.
yeah. So that's where it kind of came from. And then I've only been in it 7 months, and we're about like
Wow.
200 loan officers that we're now at that we're helping on a monthly basis. And really our mission, our purpose is just to help loan officers grow their personal brand so they can help families with their financial health. Because at the end of the day, me and loan officers, we're trying to help more families
Of course.
have better financial health. Like that's the goal of all of this. So
Agreed. So, in this 7 months, that you've been doing this, and congratulations on helping so many loan officers that ultimately will be helping those families.
yeah.
What's a couple of things you've learned, right? Meaning we all understand the struggle of getting people comfortable with video.
Yeah.
We all understand that sometimes the whole personal brand thing becomes a question mark because, and I'll just speak for myself. I'll just
Yeah.
speak for myself because it's easier if you just apply it to a situation, right? I know that when I was young in the mortgage industry, I kind of just emulated what other people were doing, right? Because I was
Yeah.
like, well, that person's successful. I'll just follow what that person's doing. And then, of course, as I matured, I was kind of like, well, why the heck am I copying that person? I'm just going to be me and I'm just going to
Yeah.
be my personality, right? Because then I don't have to think about it. I'm just natural, right?
Hmm.
So, what are some of the things that you've learned with working with these loan officers?
Yeah, I think especially during like COVID when video became a thing, a lot of loan officers are focused on virality rather than the main reason why they should be getting on social media, which is to help their clients, lead like potential clients and then the real estate agents. So as long as you get on social media and you realize your videos probably are not going to go viral, maybe you have one once in a blue moon, but if you can stay consistently recording video, you're gonna help thousands of people. Like one of my videos got 100 views, which is very low, right? But could you imagine if I had 100 people in my office? We wouldn't be able to fit
Mm,
everybody in my office,
true.
right? So
It's a good point.
yeah, to me, consistency over virality, stay consistent. And then kind of speaking to your point, just be yourself. I see a lot of LOs, they'll get on video and they'll be someone they're completely
Right.
not. And then that client or realtor will meet them in person. They're like, who are you? So those are kind of like the two things I've learned for LOs.
I love that. I love that. And great advice. And listen, for everyone listening to us, and regardless of what your position is, we have to be comfortable in video, right? At
Yeah.
the end of the day, we wouldn't put a bag over our head or cover up how we speak if we were going to meet someone in person. It's the same thing, right? It's exactly the
Yeah.
same. So get comfortable. This is the world we live in, and let yourself shine because that is your best self. Just being you. So, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Deven. Well, thank you for sharing all of this. And at the end of our podcast, we throw this out as our final question because, Deven, I believe that words become things. And the
Yeah.
stuff that we throw out into the world kind of plant a seed into our futures. So, this is a very large question, but I always end with this. If I was to take out my magic wand and
Yeah.
say to you, Deven, you are unlimited. You have unlimited knowledge, unlimited resources. What one thing would you do with that?
Yeah, that's so such a loaded question. So I'm gonna try to focus it in on just my business, if that's okay.
Sure.
If I had unlimited resources, I would want to, I'm just gonna throw out a number that's a goal,
Okay.
help 1,000 loan officers grow their personal brand. Like, and I'm not saying like get their CRM set up, posting on social stock stuff, like actually get 1,000 loan officers that are consistently recording video. Because we probably both know this. There's a lot of good loan officers in the industry, but there's also a
Absolutely.
lot of like jerks in the industry, right? If I could help 1,000 of like the good loan officers out there, like I would be very happy. And I feel like all the clients I have are just good people. They really care about their clients. We need more
That's
people.
because you're attracting them, Deven.
That's good. That's true. Yeah. So we need more of those people though, right? So I intentionally when I do call, if you've ever been on a demo with me, I always say on the call, I say even if you don't work with me, that is totally fine. I want you to succeed. Here's everything you should be doing as a loan officer. So even if it's 1,000 I work with or 1,000 I'm able to help, like I would love for 1,000 loan officers to good loan officers consistently record video and be in front of their clients.
Well, I certainly believe you just planted that seed, and that's more than attainable. So I don't think you need my magic wand. I think you can accomplish that on your own. And we certainly wish you that to come sooner rather than later. Deven, thank you so much for joining us. How can people connect with you and learn more about everything that you're doing?
Yeah, yeah. So I'd say just go to our website. It's hovadigital.com. We do a free weekly training for loan officers, marketing training. We have a free growth audit, and then we just send a lot of educational videos. So the best way is just kind of get educated from like what we know inside of the industry. And then you can always text me or email me. It's my personal cell is 801-682-3534. And then just my email is Devin at hovadigital.com.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Deven. Everyone, make sure you check out what's going on at Hova Digital. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Laura.